It's time for another Dice Tower review with Tim Jennette.
Hey everyone, this is Tim Jennette the Metal Meeple, and in this video we're taking a look at an expansion for Nations, the dice game called Unrest, designed by Rustan and Nina Hakazan. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, I should have looked this up beforehand, but that's okay. It's published by Stronghold Games in 2017. It retains the same player count. It doesn't really add much time to the game or anything. Basically, if you're not familiar with Nations, the dice game, please check out my other review that I did for the base game on the Dice Tower. But basically, you're going to roll dice, and you have a pool of dice that you're going to spend them to buy different tiles and things like that to upgrade your board, and then you play a second round of game, and you play it 4 times, essentially. There's more description in the other video, so just check that out. But we'll talk about what this expansion adds, and I'll show you all the pieces and everything, and we'll come back and I'll tell you what I think. So if you're not familiar with Nations, the dice game, please check out my review I did on the Dice Tower. I'll link the description below. Otherwise, this video is only going to be about the components and what is added into the expansion. So to begin, the first thing is a change that's made in the expansion that's not component related, and that's the knowledge track. To start, every player is going to receive one knowledge book rather than have a varying amounts of them. After that, everything else is component related. The first thing you'll notice is that you get 5 tiles for each of the different ages. These tiles are going to introduce the new symbols and things into the game, such as the Unrest Dice, these green dice, these reroll tokens, these are called star rerolls, and then you have double tokens now, not just single tokens. We have food, we have gold, we have all of them actually. And you're going to shuffle these into each of the different ages. We have a bunch of chits here, which there's even more, I just didn't get them all out. But you have all the doubles, there's even a triple gold that starts out, I believe, on one of the faction boards, or nation boards. These star rerolls, the way they work, is just like a normal reroll. You spend it, you get to reroll as many dice as you want. The difference is this does not count as an action, this is a free action. So you can spend this, reroll, and then take your turn as well. The Unrest dice are kind of neat because they are like a risk versus reward type thing. Each side has double of all the resources in the game, except for one, which has this unrest symbol. If you begin your turn with an unrest symbol showing, you only have 2 options. You can either roll all your unrest dice one time and that's it, and that will end your turn, or you can choose to put them in your used area and just ignore them, but you burn that dice, obviously. The reason it's crazy is because if you reroll and you get another unrest, then it's going to burn another one of your turns. So it's kind of a gamble on whether you want to get these and maybe burn a few turns, or, you know, the odds are pretty low. I mean, it is only on one side, but if you get 2 or 3 of these, it could add up. The game comes with more event tiles. These are just different number layouts. There's nothing really different or new about these. We have the pass first tiles. This is simply a benefit to passing first or passing second. Each player who passes will get to take one of these, and then the last player won't get anything. So you still use all 3 of these even in a 2-player game. The first player passes, picks one, the second player gets nothing. In a 4-player game, all 3 of these will be selected except for the last player won't get one. We have the bonus tiles here. These are shuffled and you're going to use one each round, and they're going to give you a way to get bonus points. This one, at the end of a round, whoever produces the most food will get 2. If you tie with somebody, you both get it. This one, whoever produces the most war, whoever produces the most books. This one is whoever passes last in the round will get 2. And this one will make each of those pass first tiles worth 2 of the symbol rather than just 1. The meat of this expansion, though, comes from the nation boards that they've added to the game. There are 4 new boards, and they are double-sided, and they're totally different on both sides of each board. So in reverse player order, you're going to draft one of these, and then you select which side you want. So you can see America actually has a 6 white die up here in this section here, so you don't have to worry about replacing all your white dice, because you'll always have one. That's pretty neat. Korea only has 4 of these blue slots down here, but they do have 6 dice. You can see 2 double whites on these 2 ends right here. That's pretty neat. Poland has 2 advisor slots, which is pretty cool. Mongolia has only 4 of these blue things, but they also have a double war up here. That's kind of cool. The Vikings, they start with one of the star rerolls, which is pretty nice. We've got Mali, which actually has that 3 gold token I was showing you. The Arabs actually have 2 wonders slots that they can build, which is pretty nice. If you can't build one and you need to put another one down, you don't have to erase the first one. And then lastly, Ethiopia, which has a double stone and all the other stuff on the board. So pretty neat stuff. Let's talk about what I think. And there you go. That is the expansion to Nations the Dice game called Unrest. And as a disclaimer, although I did purchase this game, I am credited in the rulebook as a playtester, so keep that in mind as you hear my opinions of the expansion. The first thing I'm going to say, and the thing that you're probably going to wonder is if this is a must-buy. And I think that kind of depends on a couple of things. One, did you like Nations the Dice game? If you say no, this won't really do much to change it for you, I don't think. If you do like the Nations the Dice game, yes, I think this is a must-buy, not because it does something phenomenal to the game, but it does flesh it out even more and adds a little bit more to the game, kind of more of what you wanted anyway, not adding like another board or all this other crazy stuff that's really hard to explain to new people and things like that. It just kind of thickens the game as it already is, and I really love expansions that do that. And so for me, I think that if you love the game, definitely get this. It's not absolutely necessary, and it's not going to fix it if you don't like it. So with that being said, let's move on to what I like about the expansion. One, obviously the player boards are the biggest draw of the expansion because it gives you a lot of different player start powers and things kind of idea where everybody's a little bit asymmetrical. You can obviously just mix in the old ones if you want to, or only play with one or the other and just include, you know, the expansion content, whatever. So the player boards are really nice. I really like the differences that they have. For the most part, they seem pretty balanced. Even in playtesting, we kind of we changed a few things here and there or made suggestions, and they end up changing them and having us test them out. So they seem to be balanced to me, although I think that a couple of them might be a little bit easier for people to play than other nations, if that makes sense. You know, like it's like a couple of them have a little bit of a more of a ramp up to kind of get the idea behind it. So either way, the one concern that a lot of people have asked me is why didn't they just make these all different boards, like have 8 boards instead? Obviously, I asked that as well, and it's a production cost thing. This game does come in a thinner box. I showed you the rule book in the beginning. That's only because I accidentally threw away the box before doing this review, because I always stuff everything in the base game box and get rid of the expansion boxes. You can comment below if you do that or not. I know some people are probably cringing at the fact that I throw away expansion boxes, but whatever. So the couple things I really like about the game, about the expansion, what it adds. The pass tokens are pretty cool because it gives incentives to pass first, or if you have to pass first, it's just kind of a little bonus. The bonus tiles are neat, although I think that's probably the weakest thing in the expansion. Not saying it's bad, it's just that I like everything else more, especially the new tokens that come on the new progress tokens, like the double food and the double gold, or the triple gold that comes on one of the nations boards. But the star reroll is by far the funnest thing to me. I love the ability, the fact that you can spend a reroll and do your action. That's just awesome. I really like that. That's one of my favorite things of it, which is really weird to say, but considering how much all the other stuff adds to the game, that is one of my favorite things of the expansion. And other than that, I think I covered everything. Oh, the Unrest Dice. How can I forget those, right? The Unrest Dice is basically a gambler's dream because the idea is it's kind of like this pressure luck gamble thing. Honestly, I stay away from them a lot. I've played where I've went for them a lot and everything, and I got, you know, screwed over by the fact that I roll the Unrest symbol, and then it might mess up 1 or 2 turns, and eventually you're like, you know what, whatever, I'm just going to get rid of them. So those are cool. I typically tend to not get them. Some of the people in our gaming group solely get them, and you can win either way. It is not a necessity to have those dice, which I really like, although they can push you ahead, but then every once in a while it will pull you back. So really cool idea there. And overall, this is a solid expansion to a game that I already love dearly. It's on my top 10 list if you haven't seen that already in the past. And I really like this game. I really like everything. I'm looking forward to more expansions. And if you haven't tried Nations the Dice game, check out my other review. Definitely check it out. I know Nations is a civilization building game, and this is kind of like it. I mean, it's loosely a civilization. It's themed civilization style, but the game plays. It is a dice game, and you can mitigate your luck and all that stuff. It's phenomenal. I really enjoy it. So if you have any questions or comments, please post them below. Send me an email at timjennette@gmail.com. Follow me on social media at the handle. Check out my podcast called Meeple Core. And until next time, keep on rocking and rolling dice.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.